Hey guys, so good to see you all here. Thank you for coming. Thank you all for coming out today. We are here in Nassau County, New York. At where's the name of this place again? So many places. I wanted you guys to say it louder so they can hear it. Sorry, it's mine. Tandy's. I was trying to be good to the place. We're in Tandy's in Northport here. I'm so happy you're watching. Everybody who came today. Why am I wearing a mask today? I have to. We're in Long Island, Nassau County, and I'm indoors. And in this restaurant, if I don't wear this mask, someone could report them, and they will lose their liquor license and be shut down. Isn't that terrible? That's where we are right now in the state. That if someone reports me, this organization could actually lose liquor license and be shut down. So I know some of you don't like the mask. Too bad. This business matters. I'm going to support this business. So why am I even doing this? Why am I out on a Saturday? Why am I not hanging with my family and friends? Why am I with my friends? So why am I not with my family? Because this matters. The Libertarian Party is the only party that is actually trying to solve problems, that is actually taking on very important issues, that is actually out there trying to not just go, you know what, let's have an at least mindset, and let's just make sure we don't lose what we have because the other evil guy is going to take it away. So let me just keep voting for the same people I'm voting for the past 20 years, and nothing gets better. There's an important piece that some of you might remember when I was traveling across the state last year and the year before and the year before that. I always talked about everybody else's rights. This is what we're about. Some of you out there in the Liberty Movement say things like, it's about my rights and my property rights. It isn't. It's about everybody's rights. Everybody's rights matter, including yours, including mine, but everybody's. We have to support everybody's rights. You will often find, if you're an R or a D or red or blue, you fall in line with whatever the local warlord says is the right answer, versus standing in line for your principles. When you watched me cross the state and heard me talk about things, I picked up issues that didn't actually affect me. I was defending the vaping industry. Why? Because people have a right to have a business and to vape. If you want to vape, you're an adult, do what you gotta do. Vape if you want to vape. I don't smoke. Never have. Don't vape. It's not about me. It's not don't tread on me. It's don't tread on anyone. I supported the cannabis industry. I don't do weed. The worst drug I use ever is caffeine. Only Mormons got me beat. Everybody else, I'm the squarest guy in the room. And I don't care. It's fun. It's my thing, your thing, whatever. Your rights matter. This is what we do, and this is how we act. And in both cases, I came with ideas and plans to fix a problem that doesn't affect me. I support the Second Amendment. I don't want a firearm. Again, each case, it wasn't what mattered to me, it's what matters to everybody. And I had a plan to fix that. But one of the most important issues that I picked up during my campaign, and the Libertarian Party has really gotten behind, is the idea of trying our absolute best to reform and repair and even shine a light on the bad problem that is family law in our country. New York State is an exceptional disaster, but it's happening throughout this entire country. Family law matters. And whenever I'm at a father's rights event or family law event, people always say, Larry, what was your story? I don't have one. Again, I didn't go through this. But when I actually started talking to people who've been through the disaster that's family court, to tell you the truth, when I first heard it, I didn't believe it. I thought people were exaggerating. I thought it can't be that bad. There's no way it's that bad. He's exaggerating. Then I heard the same story again and again from different people in different counties all across this state. And at one point I said, wow, it's real. I did my homework and I found out, wow, it's real. There's lots of people who will go, yes, we got a fixed family court, but no plan. I made an actual plan. And I connected with people who had actual plans. And I'm very lucky today that I have one of those people with me. One guy who shouldn't be in this state, but showed up. That's amazing he's here. I'm so happy to see him. He's actually not from New York, but he's here. He was one of the first guys I called to talk about this issue, to give me the lowdown, to validate it, and put an actual face to the actual problem. He ran for governor in Illinois. He is now working at a nonprofit to actually put this issue in the forefront. Please give him a few minutes, if I can. The man himself, Cass Jackson.
Thank you, Larry, and to all of you who showed up today, thank you as well. I just happened to find out that Larry was in town about 3 hours ago. I was staying with a good friend of mine, Ira, right down the road from here, and he and I have both been through the family law process. We've kind of experienced the full detriment that these courts have, especially for individuals that speak out. Now, what's my background? I'm a retired Navy veteran. I did 20 years in the United States military. I had a top secret clearance. I was a reserve sheriff's deputy in the very county that I went through my divorce and custody proceeding. I was in my 19th year in the United States Navy. And like many individuals in the military and across this country, my relationship broke down in large part due to my service. And I made choices to serve. I made the choice to stay in, knowing how arduous it was, knowing how difficult it was. I believe I'm going to make some sacrifices in the short term to gain some benefit in the long term, to be able to have a college benefit for my children, to be able to have medical for my children, to be able to retire from the military at a young 37 years old. And then what time I lost as a young father, I aim to make up as an older father until I went through this process. And in this process is where I discovered that our families are not afforded the same protection that they are in other areas of law. For instance, in criminal law, the judiciary and government must meet a high standard of evidence before they can sentence you, beyond a reasonable doubt, the highest standard that we have. So if you were to, say, rob this establishment, or if somebody accused you, rather,
don't rob this establishment.
If you were walking down the street and you fit the description of somebody who robbed this establishment, if you were a 6'2" handsome white man like myself, could be my friend Ira over there walking down the street, and if he was perceived or reported as having met the description of myself, which is possible, he's going to be afforded a right to an attorney. He'll be afforded a right to a trial by jury. They will have to present evidence. They will have to meet a very high standard of beyond a reasonable doubt before they can do what? Convict him. And in that conviction is where we seek reforming the individual who committed the crime. Except what we're doing, in fact, is a form of retribution. We can look at our statistics for those who reoffend. We have extremely high rates of people reoffending in this country. And why? It kind of brings me back to the topic of this year. We often talk about places like South Chicago, East St. Louis, Detroit, Atlanta, Baltimore, New Orleans, all of these cities that have very high crime rates. There's another strong correlating fact. Children growing up in fatherless homes.
Yes.
Now, what the right will do, here's where the right goes wrong. Let me use my right hand. Here's where the right goes wrong. The right demonizes these communities as being fatherless, as though the majority are somehow making a willful choice to not raise their children. That is in large part due to the narrative that has been created of the deadbeat father. Over 90% of all unpaid child support is from fathers making less than $10,000 a year. They're already living at and below the poverty line.
Yes.
Now, you take somebody who's living at and below the poverty line, who can't afford an attorney, and in a civil court, they're not going to have one appointed to them.
Yeah.
When these men, who oftentimes fall behind in child support because the economic circumstances in their community are not the same as they are elsewhere, there's a greater chance they're not going to be able to meet their child support obligation. So what's the corrective solution to the child support that they can't pay that ends up getting them incarcerated into a debtor's prison? Right? Debtor's prisons are alive and well. Right? They are alive and well. They're functioning full force. No right to an attorney. No right to a trial by jury. A judge will simply look at a father. In fact, I was in jail with a father, and this is what happened to him. Him and the mother of his children accessed programs available to them living below the poverty line. She used medical care through Medicare to pay for a surgery. She had, I believe, a hernia, and she was pregnant. And so they used the medical care. Now the father is with the mother. They've got 4 children. That's the ideal circumstance, right? The nuclear family is together. The children stand a far greater chance of completing high school, not living on welfare, not getting pregnant, not committing violent crimes, not using drugs. They're set up for the best opportunity for a young African-American couple living in a very poor community. This is the ideal circumstance. Mom and dad are together. Dad's there helping out mom full time. He's struggling to get work. He doesn't have a lot of education or formal training. Mother uses the medical care available to her through the state. When she does, the state of Illinois files a child support order against the father. They're living together. Mom and dad are living together. But the states seek to reclaim the welfare used by the mother through the father. So the state, in fact, filed the child support order, not the mother. Now, this happens in many cases. We're not aware that this has happened. The state files the claim against the father. The father goes into court. It's right when COVID's kind of kicking off. I was arrested on a contempt charge. Again, no right to an attorney, right? Just handcuff slap on me and hauled away. But this young father says to me, Mr. Jackson, I can't understand. I tried showing the judge all of these emails, all of these job applications I sent out. I'm trying, Mr. Jackson. He says, and I don't understand why I'm sitting here. And all that we did is my wife used the health care coverage available to her because we're poor. What do we have? What's the answer from Republicans and Democrats to this young man and his family? He's now incarcerated into a debtor's prison on an unexpiring lien that he can never get rid of. Yeah. And the state can suspend his driver's license, securing his ability to even go to work. And it places him into a cycle of incarceration and debt to the state. Yes. For monies he will never be able to repay. He'll never be able to repay that as long as the state keeps the boot on his throat. And that is, in fact, what they're doing. And it's part of the reason why I'm out here in New York today. I'm actually lobbying down in D.C. I am not a registered lobbyist. I'm simply a pissed off parent and a pissed off veteran who wants my rights secured. I want my children's rights secured. I want men like Larry, who may not be experiencing this circumstance, to educate themselves, take the time, and to do exactly what Larry does, which is what we should all be doing in racing, is shedding this idea that it's all about us. If we make the idea all about everyone else and their rights, we then begin to understand, and this is how I came to be a libertarian, I then began to understand it doesn't matter what my belief system is on whether or not somebody should use cannabis. Whether or not I use it is irrelevant. If you use it responsibly, you're an American citizen, you have every right to. In my opinion, and from a legal position, I believe you have every right to use cannabis as long as you don't hurt other people, right? Basic libertarian philosophy 101. Just leave people alone, let them live their lives. But we need more people to embrace what men like Larry are doing. We need more people to support people like Larry and other libertarians who go, you know what, I'm going to champion that cause. It might not be my cause, but it's somebody's cause. It's hurting somebody, it's affecting somebody. So at least let me look inside myself and say, am I a human being capable of affecting change? Yes or no? We all are. Whether you're handicapped, whether you're blind, whether you have a mental disorder, a physical impairment, we all have the capability to affect change. I traveled all the way across the country from Arkansas to Virginia, or to North Carolina, to Virginia, to DC, to here, and pretty soon I'm going to be making a reverse trip. But it's all in the name of liberty. I have a right as a father to not have my children taken from me so that the state can receive federal funding. Some of you go, what the hell? What's this federal funding he's speaking of? Here's what happens. If you bring forward the issue of families to a congressman, a federal legislator, the first thing they're going to do is kick the can. It's a 10th Amendment issue. It's a states' rights issue. This is not a federal issue. I beg to differ. Number one, I don't personally believe that my rights as a human being and as a father dissipate based upon imaginary lines. I don't care if I'm straddling the line of New York and a neighboring state. It doesn't matter to me. I'm a father. I have the same rights, my inherent natural rights that God or nature gave me, whatever you believe. Those rights do not dissipate because we cross a line. A state has no more authority over your parental rights simply because you are in their state. Because if you've got a medical license from Colorado as a parent, you have cancer, you're raising your children, you choose not to use the pharmaceuticals and the narcotics, you utilize medical cannabis, legalized in the state of Colorado, you travel to Kansas, where it's not, and the state of Kansas seizes your children because you broke the law of Kansas. Does the right to try not also apply to cannabis? Does the right to try, the executive order signed by Donald Trump, only apply to pharmaceuticals? Or does it carry over? See, that's a real life scenario that happened to a friend of mine who's a Navy veteran. Him and his wife both have medical license for severe medical conditions they both endure. They chose to use cannabis, and the state of Kansas seized their children, and it took them over 5 years and tens of thousands of dollars to get their children returned. Over 5 years of their children's lives that they will never get back. If the Libertarian Party would embrace this idea that family is far more important than any other issue we discuss, we would win over support from unlikely communities. Because I am telling you, I am an expert on this, and these communities are struggling to see their children. They're fighting to see their children. They want to be involved in their children's lives. And if the Libertarian Party or any party, I would argue, the first party to large scale embrace this idea that our families are more important than any other thing. It's more important than cannabis. It's more important than prostitution. It's more important than anything that we as libertarians would go, well, it's not my thing, but I don't care what you do. But if we embrace this idea of protecting our families, we embrace the idea of looking at domestic and federal policies that are shaping these communities, we would then begin to unite this nation where we have the discord between Republicans and Democrats. We would bring men and women together, fighting the same fight, fighting the same cause. You know what? If we address a singular issue, people go, when Cash Jackson ran for governor, he was a one-issue candidate. Yeah, I was. The issue was liberty. I was a one-issue candidate. And the idea of liberty expounds out to every other issue that we are discussing in this station. Where Republicans and Democrats fight and bring no solutions, offer no real solutions, libertarians do, fighting through the idea through liberty. That's what I'm doing in New York. I'm here with Larry Sharpe. Larry Sharpe is the man. I'm going to get a beer. And maybe, just maybe, you're going to see me and Larry do a lot of work together in the future. Thank you, Larry.
We are truly lucky to have you here, Cash. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for coming, and please enjoy your beer. Well earned. Thank you so much. Absolutely. The point that he brought up is the point that I brought up 1,000 times. In New York State specifically, but in many states, the family court system is seen as the junior system. It's the kids' table. Right, the judges do that as, oh, okay, I got to do some family court stuff today, or they're put down to that. They can't get to Superior Court, right? So they're actually, it's terrible. But the point is well taken, Pat. I love what you said. The reality of it is, if we had better families, if we had stronger families, we'd have less kids in jail, which means we wouldn't need as many people in criminal court. We'd have less people suing each other, so we have less people in civil court. If you fix family court, all the other courts get better. If you fix family court, everything gets better. The common denominator, with what is every prison filled with? Men who didn't have fathers in their lives. And that's not 100%, but that's in every single prison. It's over 50%. In every single prison, it is over 50% men who did not have fathers in their lives. This is a critical piece. And you're right, the Libertarian Party hasn't 100% embraced this. That's true. But I have. And the Libertarian Party is going more forward with this than any other party. If this idea matters to you, other people's rights, not just yours. If this idea matters to you, family actually mattering. Now the funny part is, Democrats will say they care about families, and their answer is more money, more giveaways to families. But then they set up systems to where it makes sense for the father to not live in the home. So now the war on poverty actually assists in fathers not being in homes. Republicans do the opposite. They'll yell family, 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 and then do nothing except yell family, family, family. So neither of them do anything to help the family out. Libertarian Party does. Because we want you to pursue your happiness your way, to raise your children your way, to build your family your way. And might you be wrong? Yes, you might. You might be wrong on how you raise or build your family. But whose life is it and whose family is it? Yours. And not just that. If you're wrong, you will affect one family, and you have a possibility to change that and make amends and fix things and right wrongs. Cash even said it. He said he knew he had taken some time away from his kids when he was younger, but he tried to make it up. He was going to right the wrong, as many of us try to do. Man, every story you see in America, it's about redemption. It's about some guy or some gal making a mistake and making things right. That's our road to happiness for so many people. But when government decides how to raise your family, everybody suffers. And there is no way to make amends. Because only the government system can change, and it won't. And when it changes, while it will help some, it will crush others. And it's a constant cycle of one group of people being punished for another. And no one can make amends. This country was about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We've lost that. Only one party talks about it. Libertarian Party. This is our year, guys. This is our year to vote gold. This is our year to make change. If you actually care about families, if you actually care about your own communities, if you actually want change, you have to vote gold this year. And tell your friends, vote gold this year. If you get your ballot and you just vote R down the line or D down the line, and you wonder why our country's in trouble, look in the mirror. It is your fault. It is your fault if you just go R or D down the line. Why is our country in trouble? You! You're the reason. Look for the gold on your line and vote for it. But Larry, maybe you can't win. So what? Build up our infrastructure now so more people come our way in the future. But Larry, I'm a Democrat or a Republican. I want to say that way. Great, say that way. Here's what I know. If you're a Democrat, you're unhappy with your party. If you're a Republican, you're unhappy with your party. Why? Everyone's happy with their party. You want better Democrats, better Republicans? Vote for Libertarian. Vote Libertarian. If you actually have a good third party, a Libertarian party strong enough, it will move Democrats and Republicans to be what they're supposed to be about. The two big parties, they don't even believe the lies they say anymore. They have no idea. They're just saying things they're elected. And we keep rewarding bad behavior. Let's stop. Vote gold this year. Cash, thank you so much for coming, guys. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.